Hi guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Beauty Sweets. You can call me Beauty, you can call me Sweets. And today we are going to be talking about FNAF lore. And we're just gonna get right into it because it's gonna be a very long video. So before I get into this, I'm gonna apologize because I'm gonna be looking down a lot, mostly because I'm reading a script that I wrote and I've spent months on making. So forgive me for that. This is like, I think it's 21 pages long in total. I can't remember at the moment. I have the font enlarged to size 18 and it's 39 pages, if that helps you guys figure out anything. But yeah, I'm sorry that I'll be looking down a lot. I will try and look at the camera as much as I can, but we'll see what happens. What is FNAF? Everything started in 2014 with the first Five Nights at Freddy's game. It's a series that was created by Scott Cawthon. It consists of, I believe, 9 games, 23 books, and a few, I think possibly 12 fan-made VHS tapes. And the reason that I'm including these VHS tapes is because it is widely agreed upon that they are canon, and they do add a bit of information to the storyline. And then the same year, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 came out. The next year, Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and 4 came out. And then in 2016, we had the release of Five Nights at Freddy's Sister's Location. And then the next year, so 2017, we had release of Pizza Simulator. And then there was no game in 2018, but in 2019, they did release Help Wanted, as well as Special Delivery, which I believe both are VR games. And then in 2020, there was also no game released. And then last year, in 2021, we were given Security Breach. And then on top of those, there's also many fan-made games. There's many spin-offs that are non-canon, so we're not going to be talking about them, but they are technically still part of the Five Nights at Freddy's world in total. So within the FNAF series, there are roughly 23 books currently. We have the first 3, which are the Silver Eyes, the Twisted Ones, and the Fourth Closet, that were also made into graphic novels. And then there's the Fazbear Fright series, which has 11 novels in it, being Into the Pit was released in 2019, Fetch, 1:35 a.m., Bunny Call, and Blackbird were released in 2020. The Cliffs, Gumdrop Angel, Puppet Carveteer, Friendly Face, and Prankster were released in 2021. Then we have Tales of the Pizzaplex, which are upcoming books. So far we know of Lily's Game and Haps, which will be coming out sometime 2022, supposedly. And then you have a bunch of guidebooks, and the most important one would be the survival logbook. There's also the Freddy files, there's also the Security Breach files, and the Five Nights at Freddy's Ultimate Guide, and there's, I believe, 2 coloring books. The chronological order that I think the story goes in is it starts with the 4th game in 1983, and then you're followed by Sister Location or Five Nights at Freddy 2, which takes place in 1987. It's debatable when Sister Location takes place, so you can switch those 2 as you feel. I just personally think Sister Location comes before FNAF 2, but we don't need to get into it. Anyways, the next part of the timeline is the first Five Nights at Freddy's, which is supposed to take place in 1993. And then we have FNAF 3, which is Fazbear Frights, and that takes place in around 2023. It takes place 30 years after the last game in the timeline. And then Pizza Simulator is also sometime in 2023, so we believe. And then we have Help Wanted and Special Delivery. I'm not 100% sure when these take place, but my estimate is that Help Wanted is about 2025, and then special delivery is about 2029, because security breach is early 2030s. Got that? It's 1967, and our story starts with two best friends, William Afton and Henry Emling, who decided to open up a business together, being Fredbear's Family Diner. This diner featured two Springlock suit animatronics, being Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. Henry usually wore these suits because they couldn't typically afford to hire someone to wear them. And William studied engineering, so he mostly built the animatronics, while Henry studied business administration and communication. William meets a wife and eventually comes to have 3 children together, being Michael, Evan, and Elizabeth. Henry also manages to end up with children, although it's unknown if he has a wife or what the situation is between them. However, Charlotte, or Charlie, as well as Sammy, which is Charlie's brother in the novels. So, in the first 3 games, there's the missing children incidents that were shown through the mini-games. There are over 130 animatronic characters in the FNAF series, but this first game features the main 4, being Fazbear, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, plus featuring Golden Freddy. The 2 businessmen learned from William's oldest, Michael, that Fredbear and Spring Bonnie were born. So William designed a new mascot. It took the 2 friends a couple of years before success found them, but when it did, boy did it ever rain on them. They managed to get enough income that they were able to open up a second location. And that would be Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. That would feature Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy as its main stars. William was not a nice man. He was abusive and he was cruel. One day, 4 children were enjoying their time at a birthday party until the yellow Spring Bonnie came over to them and lured them into the back room, where William, hiding under the suit, went on a murdering spree, killed the 4 children, and shoved them into the animatronics. William was suspected of being the culprit of these cases. However, due to the lack of evidence, the police were not able to arrest him and they had to let him go. Afton went on to create Afton Robotics, which went on to lead to him opening Circus Baby's Pizza World, where it would serve the exact same things as Fredbear's and Fazbear's, but with the addition of ice cream. And this time, he had different animatronics such as Ballora, as well as Circus Baby, aka a blue-eyed, red-haired clown animatronic that had a built-in scooper that would grab children, trap them inside of her, so William could kill them. Now, William's daughter was obsessed with Baby, and she always was asking if she could go play with her. She wanted William to let her go see her. It looked just like her after all. It was the first girl animatronic her dad had ever created. He made her for her. Elizabeth always asks her father if she could see Baby.
Daddy, why won't you let me play with her? Daddy, you let the other children go see her. Why won't you let me go?
The answer was always no. William Afton knew that there was a chance that Circus Baby would recognize Elizabeth as a child, and he did not want to risk her getting scooped by his own creation. But Elizabeth continued to ask.
Daddy, just once let me go play with her. She's so pretty and shiny. Didn't you make her just for me?
The day before opening day, William decided to rent out the place for a private birthday party. Circus Baby was there, and William had to step away for a moment, so he left his daughter and the other children in the room. The children were running around, and somehow the little girl ended up being left alone in the room with Baby. Excited that her father wasn't around and couldn't stop her from approaching her, She did exactly that. Circus Baby watched as this little girl ran over with such excitement, and then she started to dispense ice cream, something she had never done before, something that William had designed as a luring tactic.
Don't tell Daddy that I'm here. I wanted to watch a show too. I don't know why he won't let me come see you. You're wonderful. Where did the other children go?
Those were Elizabeth's last words, as Baby scooped her into her stomach, screaming, filled the room. However, a herd of children and their excitement drowned out Elizabeth's cries. You can hear the story best when Baby tells it.
Did you know that I was on stage once? It wasn't for very long, only one day. What a wonderful day, though. I was in a small room with balloons and a few tables. No one sat at the tables, though, but children would run in and out. Some were afraid of me, others enjoyed my songs. Music was always coming from somewhere else, down a hall. I would always count the children. I'm not sure why. I was always acutely aware of how many there were in the room with me. 2, then 3, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 2, then none. They usually played together in groups of 2 or 3. I was covered in glitter. I smelled like birthday cake. There were 2, then 3, then 5, then 4. I can do something special. Did you know that? I can make ice cream. Although I only did it once. There were 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. Something happened when there was 1. A little girl standing by herself. I was no longer myself, and I stopped singing. My stomach opened, and there was ice cream. I couldn't move, at least, not until she stepped closer. There was screaming for a moment, but only for a moment. Then other children rushed in again, but they couldn't hear her over the sounds of their own excitement. I still hear her sometimes. Why did that happen?
William is why that happened. William returned to the room, looking around, wondering where his child was. And then he remembered Elizabeth's words.
Daddy, she can make balloons. Have you seen her make balloons? Oh, Daddy, let me go to her.
William realized what had happened and looked at Circus Baby with her cold eyes staring back. Shutting Circus Baby's world down before it could even open, William knew he couldn't allow this to happen again. He knew he had to think of a way to protect his remaining kids. He had to create a way to make sure his children would keep a safe distance from his murderous creations, and thus he created the illusion discs. Discs that altered the way our brain perceived things. The next phase of the story is told in FNAF 4. In FNAF 4, you play as a terrified child in their bedroom, closing doors and hiding from animatronics. It is uncertain as to why Evan was terrified of these animatronics. It is theorized he may have witnessed the murders his father committed and may have witnessed one of the children being shoved into an animatronic suit. Or it's believed William designed animatronics with illusion discs that would appear as nightmarish versions of animatronics that would torture Evan through the night, only to stop when the clock reached 6 a.m. Michael, knowing his brother's fear of the animatronics, took this opportunity to torture his brother and would often jump out and scare his brother while wearing a foxy mask. William acknowledged that Michael was doing this, however he approved of it, thinking of it as another way to prevent Evan from getting close to the animatronic. In 1983, William decided to hold Evan's birthday at Fredbear's family dining. Michael saw this as an opportunity to scare his brother and knew that it would not be an easy task. So, he enlisted some friends to help. Michael and his friends wore masks of the animatronics and tortured Evan. Michael believed it would be funny if Evan got closer to the animatronic, so Michael stated that Evan wanted to kiss Fredbear, and his friends should give him a boost to help him reach. Michael and his friends lifted up Evan, shoving his head and half of his body inside of Fredbear's mouth. As Michael and his friends laughed at Evan, they were unaware of the main rules of these animatronic suits. No sudden movement, and do not let the suits get wet or sit in a room with moisture. When moisture interacted with the spring lock suits, it would cause the locks to malfunction, and thus the locks would spring back into their original position. And for Fredbear, that original position had the mouth closed. Evan's tears cooled down his cheeks and poured into the animatronic. Evan's tears interacted with the spring lock, causing them to malfunction, causing Fredbear's mouth to slam shut, ultimately crushing Evan's head. As the blood pooled down Fredbear's mouth, Michael and his friends stared in shock. William, hearing the news, rushed to the hospital alongside police and an ambulance, hoping, praying they could save Evan's life. Evan was rushed to the hospital where he fell into a coma. During this coma, Evan found himself reliving the nightmarish torment that his father had put him through the last week. Evan closing doors and shining a flashlight to fight off the animatronics until 6 a.m. As 6 a.m. rolls in, we can hear the voices of Michael and William saying goodbye to Evan.
Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry. You're broken. We're still your friends. Do you still believe that? I'm still here. I will put you back together.
After Evan's death, William heard the news of this new location opening. Junior's? Henry decided to open a new location, and he knew that William could no longer have a connection with the franchise. Someone who was suspected of murdering children working in the franchise would be bad for business. Henry came up with a facial recognition system that would be able to identify criminals, hoping he can prevent William from entering the restaurant. Henry was worried about his daughter, so he created the security puppet, an animatronic whose sole purpose was to protect Charlie. William drove to Junior's and walked up to the door, only to be turned away, as the security told
Come
him
on,
he
you know you
cannot
can't be
be
here.
there.
Don't make this more difficult than it has to be.
William leaves the restaurant full of rage and knows exactly what to do with it. One night, Henry's daughter, Charlie, was at the restaurant enjoying a party, when she ended up getting sick from chocolate she ate, which she was allergic to. She went outside to get sick, and the other children at the party thought it would be funny to lock Charlie outside, and so they did just that. Charlie, locked outside of the restaurant, begins to cry. When she notices a car pulling up next to her, she sees a man get out of the car, and her fear subsides. She knows this man. It's her dad's business partner, William. Charlie smiles at William until she notices William was holding something behind his back. Before Charlie could even register what was happening, William pulled out his knife and killed Charlie, leaving her body in the alleyway behind the restaurant. William was not satisfied, so he decided to open a new location where he created his next animatronics, Funtime Freddy and Funtime Foxy, both with different ways of luring children and killing them. In addition to these Funtime animatronics, William also built Ballora, a ballerina that would sing and spin, and also hold his wife. These animatronics would be the star of this new business, and his new business would be Circus Babies Entertainment and Rentals. Almost a year after Fredbear Entertainment closed Freddy's, the company opened a new location to the public, Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, but new. One night, William snuck into Freddy's and began walking towards the animatronics. William destroyed the animatronics and released the souls from their prison. Now for the children's spirits with anger, staring at the one who had taken their lives away. William looked around, trying to find a way out. That's when he spotted the Spring Bonnie suit. William jumped into the Spring Bonnie suit and laughed at the spirits stared at him. William shouts at the spirits, asking if they're afraid of the funny bunny. The spirits of the children simply looked at William, looked towards the ceiling, and back to William. It seems he did not notice that the room they were in was unfinished and off the camera, so no one could see what was happening. The whole area was poorly built, and there wasn't much inside of it. But thanks to the heat of the room, the condensation dripped from the roof, slowly dripping onto the spring-lock suit, causing it to malfunction. The spring-lock suit sprung into its usual position. William fell being impaled by his own creation. As his blood pooled around him, he pleaded with the spirits for help. begging for his life to be spared. The spirits would not give him mercy, and they left him to die in the unfinished room. On this day, Henry stepped into the building. Fearing the shelter of an old friend, he ran to see what had happened, only to find William inside the spring bonnie suit covered in blood. Upon seeing this, Henry thought that karma had finally come to William, and so he walked away, leaving him to his fate. Henry decided to cover up the entrance and any evidence of the safe room. Unfortunately, the damage done to the animatronics was too much for Henry to fix. And additionally, people began to complain about the foul smells coming from the animatronics as their suits hadn't been fully opened or cleaned in years. It started to become too much for Henry, so in 1993, Henry shut Freddy Fazbear's Pizza for the final time, never planning to open another location. However, Henry could not forget about his daughter. He had this feeling that his daughter was somehow inside of the puppet. He didn't know how or why, but he knew she was inside of it. In hopes of finding the puppet and setting his daughter free, he created a new animatronic called Lefty, short for Lure, Encapsulate, Fuse, Transport, and Extract. Lefty was created with the sole purpose of capturing and finding the puppet. William, still trapped in the now blocked off safe room, Michael was beginning to question where his father went, so he decided to ask Henry, to ask if he knows where his father is, to which Henry replies that he's unsure and he should check the other locations his father worked at. So Michael went to Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals searching for William. When Michael reaches Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rentals, he goes down this employee elevator and finds the underground parts and services and heads towards the primary control module. Michael disguises himself as a night guard or a night technician. He was hiding under desks and running away from the animatronics while also trying to fix the broken Circus Baby. Everything was going well until the third night, when Michael was jumped by Funtime Foxy. Michael wakes up after Foxy attacks Michael, finds himself trapped inside an animatronic, and hears Baby's voice saying,
"Shh, be still and quiet. You've been sleeping for quite a while. I think they noticed that you never left the building last night. The cameras were searching for you, but they couldn't find you. I have you hidden too well. I kidnapped you. There's something very important that I've learned how to do over time. Do you know what that is? How to pretend. Do you ever play make-believe? Pretend to be one way when you are really the other? It's very important. Ballora never learns, but I do. They think there is something wrong on the inside. The only thing that matters is knowing how to pretend."
When Michael is trapped inside the animatronic, Baby forces him to watch Ballora as she gets opened by the scooper. Michael felt a strange connection to this robot, similar to how he felt his sister inside of Baby. He felt his mother inside of Ballora. Now things made sense. Now he understands where his mother went. Eventually, the animatronic's torture stopped, and Baby stated that she would open the faceplate so that the workers would be able to find Michael and rescue him from his suit. Michael returned the next day and enters the control module to find a horrific scene of two technicians hanging. This is when Baby demanded that Michael destroy her body and instructed him to enter the scooping room. When Michael enters the room, Michael sees the old Funtime animatronics alongside one animatronic that he did not recognize, Ennard. Ennard was the amalgamation of the Funtime animatronics who destroyed themselves and mixed together to make one. They formed into one because they were trying to escape and get out of the underground facility. And that's when they informed Michael about what their plan was.
You are in the scooping room now. Funtime Foxy has already been here today. Funtime Freddy has already been here today. Ballora has already been here today. Circus Baby has already been here today. I've been out before, but they always put me back. They always put us back inside. There's nowhere for us to hide here. There is nowhere to go. when we look like this. But if we looked like you, then we could hide. If we looked like you, then we would have somewhere to go. The scooper only hurts for a moment.
The animatronics shoved themselves inside of Michael's corpse and escaped the facility, where they went on and began walking through the neighborhood. The body being dead wasn't a good thing. It slowly started to decompose. Michael's body was unable to go any further, and so it collapsed. And Baby can be heard telling Michael that he isn't going to die.
You won't die.
He didn't die. However, when the body fell, Ennard fled into the sewer, which is where it continued to roam. However, the group that made up Ennard felt as though Baby had too much control. Baby was their leader, but controlling and demanding. The other animatronics, being Ballora, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy, decided that they had enough of Baby's behavior and decided to kick her out. After kicking Baby out of Ennard, over time it collected small parts until it eventually became Molten Freddy, leaving Circus Baby to go hunt to end up rebuilding itself as Scrap Baby. William sat trapped in this room thinking about what he had done. Realizing that this building was still populated, there was still a chance to be found. There was still hope. There was still a chance he could one day see the light of day. Michael, being determined to find his father, tells him that,
"Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I found it. It was right where you said it would be. They were all there. They didn't recognize me at first, but then they thought I was you. And I found her. I put her back together, just like you asked me to. She's free now. But something is wrong with me. I should be dead, but I'm not. I've been living in shadows. There is only one thing left for me to do now. I'm going to come find you. I'm going to come find you."
30 years later, in 2023, a new location under the Fazbear Entertainment franchise opened up. This place was based on the myths and rumors of Fredbear's Family Diner as well as Fredbear's Pizzeria. Filled with items from the location, which gained the title of a horror attraction, this location would become Fazbear Fright. While looking for other artifacts to use in this location, the team came across two things. One being some old employee training audio tapes, and the second being an old animatronic.
Hey man, okay, I have some awesome news for you. First of all, we found some vintage audio training cassettes. Dude, these are like prehistoric. I think they were like training tapes for like other employees or something like that. So I thought we could like have them playing like over the speakers as people walk through the attraction. Dude, that makes us feel legit, man. But I have an even better surprise for you. And you're not gonna believe this. We found one. A real
During
one.
the time Michael was living in the shadows, waiting, searching for his family, then Michael heard the news of this new location that was opening, Fazbear Fright, and how they had found an old animatronic that was still working and would become the place's main attraction. Michael knew exactly what this animatronic was, or rather, who it was, William. So he traveled to Fazbear's with a plan to end this. Michael arrives at the location and burns the place down. The spirits, pleased watching William burn, decided to cross over, where they went and finished their birthday party they had started 40 years ago. All the spirits, minus one spirit inside Golden Freddy, who was not ready to let go. Michael manages to escape the fire, and William is left to meet his final demise. William was surrounded by flames when it came to him that if Michael escaped, he could escape the same way. William now had that exit in sight. William could escape and be free once more. Henry sat in sorrow for many years, thinking about everything that had happened, worrying whether or not William could have survived in that room. He was aware something was off about the animatronics, or he was aware that something else was inside them. Henry stayed awake at night thinking of the loose ends that have yet to be tied. He destroyed the toy animatronics, destroyed the original animatronics, but what about William's own creations? Through the years, as Henry thought about this, he decided to make tapes recording his thoughts. Eventually, an idea struck.
It's only now that I understand the depth of the depravity of this creature, this monster that I unwillingly helped to create, as if what he had already done wasn't enough. He found a new way to desecrate, to humiliate, to destroy. As if the suffering wasn't enough, the loss of innocence, the loss of everything to so many people. Small souls trapped in prisons of my making, now set to new purpose, and used in ways I never thought imaginable. He lured them all back to a familiar place, back with familiar tricks. He brought them all together. Are they still aware? I hope not. It keeps me awake at night. I could make myself sleep, but not yet. Not until I undo what he has done and heal this wound. A wound first inflicted on me, but then one that I let bleed out to cause all of this. He set some kind of trap. I don't know what it was, but he led them there, again. He overpowered them, again. And he robbed them of the only thing that they had, again. I don't know how those tiny breaths of life came to inhabit those machines, but they will never find rest now, not like this. I have to call them all back, all of them, together in one place.
Henry had a plan, but he would need help, so he put out an advertisement for a pizzeria manager, and thus, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place opens. Michael hears the news about Henry opening a new location and knows that after all these years, if anyone would know what happened in between William's disappearance and Michael reuniting with that monstrous version of his father, it would be Henry. William wanted revenge against Henry and saw this new location opening, so William also headed towards the pizza place. Michael heads towards the new location where he takes up the job opportunity. Throughout the night, Michael finds himself coming face to face with multiple things. Molten Freddy, who reminded him of his mother, as well as Scrap Baby, aka his baby sister, Elizabeth. Michael additionally encounters an unfamiliar animatronic, aka Lefty. Finally, Michael saw Scraptrap. His father had survived the fire. This was a nightmare. He needed to end it. He needed a plan. During his shifts, he is constantly being reminded that there would be a big party on Saturday.
There's a big party here Saturday. Make it through Saturday. Don't forget Saturday. You want them all to be in one place.
There was something going on. The only other person working here was Henry. Henry must have a plan. A plan to finish this all? A big party on Saturday. This is when Molten Freddy comes out of the shadows looking at Michael and spoke in the voice of his mother.
It's time to die, time to say goodbye, time to end these rhymes. You'll be set free in one try.
Suddenly, Scraptrap enters and seeing Michael still alive, he tries to attack Michael when Lefty turned on Scraptrap and helped Michael. As Michael attempts to crawl to freedom through the vents, Baby speaks from beside him.
You played right into our hands. Did you really think that this job just fell out of the sky for you? No. This was a gift for us. You gathered them all together in one place, just like he asked you to. All of those little souls in one place, just for us. A gift. Now we can do what we were created to do, and be complete. I will make you proud, Daddy. Watch, listen, and be full.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name, but I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift, nor have you been called here by the individual you assume, although you have indeed been called. You have all been called here, into a labyrinth of sounds and smells, misdirection and misfortune. A labyrinth with no exit, a maze with no prize. You don't even realize that you are trapped. Your lust for blood has driven you in endless circles, chasing the cries of children in some unseen chamber, always seeming so near, yet somehow out of reach. But you will never find them. None of you will. This is where your story ends. And to you, my brave volunteer, who somehow found this job listing not intended for you. Although there was a way out planned for you, I have a feeling that's not what you want. I have a feeling that you are right where you want to be. I am remaining as well. I am nearby. This place will not be remembered, and the memory of everything that started this can finally begin to fade away, as the agony of every tragedy should. And to you monsters trapped in the corridors, be still, and give up your spirits. They don't belong to you. For most of you, I believe there is peace, and perhaps more, waiting for you after the smoke clears. Although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, friend. My daughter, if you can hear me, I knew you would return as well. It's in your nature to protect the innocent. I'm sorry that on that day, the day you were shut out and left to die, no one was there to lift you up into their arms, the way you lifted others into yours. And then, what became of you? I should have known you wouldn't be content to disappear. Not my daughter. I couldn't save you then, so let me save you now. It's time to rest, for you, and for those you have carried in your arms. This ends, for all of us, in communication.
Now, one of the only spirits to remain was the spirit inside of Golden Freddy, who was not satisfied with William burning up and wanted him to suffer even more, trapping William's spirit in purgatory where he is forced to defend himself against the animatronics and he dies over and over again, never getting to rest. The remaining spirits sat watching William in purgatory until one day they fell through the void where they met with Old Man Consequences, who told them,
"Come and sit with me a while. Leave the demon to his demons. Rest your own soul. There is nothing else."
In the aftermath of the events of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place and everything that came before, a member of Fazbear's Entertainment went rogue and came up with this brilliant idea, creating a video game series based on the events and rumors and myths that were associated with the Fazbear Entertainment. Fazbear Entertainment saw this game series as an opportunity. They decided that they would bring the rogue indie developer into the business, and together they would come up with a way to cover up all the horrors and abandoned locations that have supposedly come from within the franchise. Using this opportunity, Fazbear Entertainment began working on their own game, under the official company name, a game which would make fun of these myths and previous locations, a virtual reality game they would call Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted. This new location inspired the team at Fazbear's Entertainment, and they had big plans, starting with a new location, a big location. They would need somewhere to build this new location. But where? The most recent scandal in the franchise was the burning of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. They realized they had to cover it up before the public could even look into it. This was perfect. They planned to build a giant mall over the old pizza place, but it wouldn't be cheap, and they needed more money. They needed another source of income, so they started to sell reruns of their old products, masks, plushies, toys, etc. They managed to reach their goal, and with enough money they could begin. But who would work on the game? Who would work in this new location? A member of this team would include Vanessa, a 23-year-old female with blonde hair and green eyes. Vanessa is a somewhat troubled individual. She has high anxiety and uses calming protocols while working for the business. Her father and her mother had a custody battle in court, with her father not playing fairly and making her mother look badly by scaring Vanessa into lying and manipulating her to say things that weren't true, which in turn made her mother lose the court case. While she was working on the new VR game, she befriended another employee and the main beta tester of the game, Jeremy. One day while working on the game, an employee found an old unused code. In hopes of speeding up the process, the team was directed to implement the code into the game. While Jeremy was testing the game, he began to see this apparition of what he called the anomaly. When he attempts to tell the rest of the team about this, they simply brush it off as a glitch. Jeremy tried to tell the others how the anomaly spoke to him. He told them about the nightmares, hallucinations, and the voices he was hearing, all related to this anomaly. He tried to warn them, but no one believed him. In fact, they thought he was up to something suspicious, and they were preparing a way to fire Jeremy from the business. Jeremy decided he could no longer wait for the others to listen to him. He had to take matters into his own hands. One morning, Vanessa arrived at work early, where she saw Jeremy standing in the supply room, and all she saw was a Halloween mask with ink sprayed everywhere, and Jeremy with his shirt covered in ink. But she couldn't see his face because he was wearing the VR headset. Little did she know that was no Halloween mask, and that was no ink. Jeremy had cut his face off with a guillotine paper slicer. Jeremy committed suicide to prevent the anomaly from taking over him and freeing itself. It did not take long for another employee to see Jeremy and realize the situation. Vanessa eventually learns the truth when she hears about a death that had been reported to the higher-ups, and goes to talk to the higher-ups, but stops when she overhears her manager on the phone with someone having a conversation about Fazbear Entertainment stressing over a possible lawsuit, a suicide within the company, while also learning that the rogue indie game developer wasn't actually a rogue game developer at all. Rather, they were an employee of Fazbear Entertainment, and they were employed to make the ridiculous game. It was all just one giant cover-up. The VR game would cover up the cover-up. Vanessa enters the office to talk to her higher-ups when she's informed that she would be taking over Jeremy's work. Fearing what the company may do, Vanessa simply agreed. She picks up where Jeremy left off, meaning she would be testing the same area where the anomaly appears. She begins play testing the game when she finally sees it, realizing Jeremy was right.
I saw it for the first time today. There was a character I couldn't make out who it was, standing at the end of the hall. I thought it was just bugged out, so I made a note of it and kept playing. But then it was looking in the window, and not like Chica or Bonnie would. It was like it was actually looking in the window, seeing what I was doing.
As she is testing the game, she decides to keep tape recordings of her experience. The anomaly, aka Glitch Trap, attached itself to these tapes, and due to this, Vanessa was unable to delete his coding, due to the fact that the location where she was hiding these tapes was a safe area, but also a non-removable area. So thanks to that, Glitch Trap was basically given a protected area where he could hide out. Vanessa, realizing that Glitch Trap had attached himself to the tapes, she broke the tapes into pieces, telling anyone who finds them to never assemble them. But it was too late. Glitch Trap began raiding Vanessa's mind. He was whispering into her ear, pushing her to do things, telling her what to do and where to go. He managed to get her to make the Vanny suit similar to William's Bonnie suit. The longer Glitch Trap whispers into her ear, the more that Glitch Trap kept pushing Vanessa to achieve his ultimate goal. She begins to come up with a plan on how she can bring William back into his own body. After a while of selling merchandise and gaining revenue, they launched the VR game and opened Freddy Fazbear Mega Pizzaplex. Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex opened with its main stars being glam rock animatronics. The new animatronic band included Freddy Fazbear, Glam Rock Chica, Montgomery Gator, and Roxanne Wolf. There also used to be a Glam Rock Bonnie, but one night Bonnie left his green room headed towards Monty Golf only to be destroyed by Monty. With Bonnie unable to operate, Monty was made the new bass player for the crew. Vanessa wanted to become a security guard for this new location as it would make her crimes easier to commit. She showed a high interest in being the security guard for the location, and someone from the top even recommends her for the position. However, there is a recommendation against hiring Vanessa due to her lack of experience, but she's hired anyways. During the opening week of the Pizzaplex, Vanessa murders kids, creating more missing children cases, while during the ordeal, Vanessa has been going to see a therapist. The therapist finds out Vanessa has been talking to someone online in an encrypted conversation. The IT noticed that Vanessa was searching up weird things during company time, such as fake fur, as well as being seen repeatedly in the Pizzaplex by the IT department. Sometimes they would even catch her wearing her Vanny mask. As Vanessa's therapists start to unravel the truth, they are suddenly replaced by another therapist. They seem to disappear when they get too close.
Apparently, I'm the 4th therapist you've had. And apparently, all 3 of your former therapists have gone missing. Or 2 of them are missing. I don't want to scare you, but I have to tell you that one of them was found dead.
Glitch Trap has been using his influence over Vanessa through Vanny and killing the therapist whenever they get close to the truth. The therapist addresses the fact that she's been lying. Her history, her family history, none of it was true. Asking why she lied, the therapist decided that she can answer when she's ready.
Why don't we come back to this another day? You're shaking your head as though that's not going to happen.
Flashing to the opening scene of Security Breach, Freddy's system starts to malfunction as it senses Vanny's presence in the audience. Freddy falls over and is put under lockdown and sent to his room. During the time Freddy was shut down, Gregory snuck into his stomach hatch. Freddy reboots and hears Gregory talking to him. Questioning where Gregory is, we are told he's inside Freddy.
Showtime already? I am experiencing a malfunction. The recharge cycle is not complete.
Shh! Will you shut up?
Who said that?
I did! And down here.
Down where? I still do not see you.
Okay, listen. You were sleeping, so I opened the stomach hatch and climbed inside.
My stomach hatch? That place is reserved for oversized birthday cakes and piñatas. It is not a safe play area. There you are. Scanning complete. How odd. Your guest profile is unknown to me. Who are you?
I'm Gregory.
Gregory.
Now, the Pizzaplex is about to close, and Gregory has to find a way out before he's locked inside. Following Freddy's instruction, he makes it to the front lobby, where the door is shut right in front of him.
Now what am
Now
I
trapped
supposed to
inside,
do?
Gregory is exploring and surviving the daycare while fighting off the animatronic stars, while also trying to avoid staff bots. Gregory manages to survive until 6 a.m. when the lobby doors open and he's free to leave. While staring at the doors, Gregory thinks about everything that happened in the Pizzaplex.
If I leave now, nothing will change, will it? There will be more disappearances.
Yes, I am afraid that is correct. Gregory, you have a choice to make. The door is open, and you can go. Or you can continue to investigate the secrets of the Pizzaplex. I feel there is something else going on besides Vanny.
And makes the decision to stay, to search for a way to put an end to the killings. After destroying the glam rock animatronics, Gregory and Freddy take an elevator down to the bottom of the Pizzaplex. Gregory and Freddy find themselves in a long-abandoned Freddy Fazbear's Pizza place.
I know what this is. I have been here before. She brought me here. I found myself for the first time when I cleared the path. I did not want to, but I had no choice. Now I have a choice. I have changed. My friends are here. They are so angry, confused. But I can protect you.
Gregory begins to believe someone may be possessing Freddy. By falling even lower within the pizza place, they land in the same room Henry sat in while saying his final words years ago, the same place that William hid the feed to his security cameras. Using the monitors in the building, Burntrap attempted to hack into Freddy. However, Gregory manages to hit a button that shoots fire into the room, distracting William long enough that he isn't able to take over Freddy. While doing this, Gregory's fighting off the broken glam rock animatronics. Gregory hits the button again, setting the room on fire. The amalgamation watching all of this decided to step in and grabbed William by his throat, pulling him back into the burning building, allowing Gregory and Freddy to escape. And that is the story of Five Nights at Freddy's. At least, the current story. This may be the end. It may not. I guess we'll have to see the new books and wait to see if there's going to be any new games to find out if this is truly the end. But thank you guys so much for clicking on this video, and if you made it all the way through, I appreciate you so much. Again, I apologize that I wasn't really looking at the camera. I was trying at first, and then I got really stressed out because I kept getting tongue-tied, so I felt it was best just to read from the script and you guys could understand, right? Anyways, if you guys have any ideas of video games I should play next or what kind of video content I should put out, feel free to put it in the comments for me. Leave a like if you like it, and you know, you get the drill. Okay guys, as always, make sure you get yourself some water and have yourselves a snack. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.